Hulk was a simple young man living in a small, broken house at the edge of the city. Life had never been easy for him, but he never complained, because his world revolved around one person only: his mother. His father had passed away years ago, leaving Hulk and his mother alone to face life's hardships. Hulk worked wherever he could, loading trucks, cleaning shops, sometimes going hungry, just to make sure his mother had food and medicine. They didn't have much, but they had each other, and that was enough, or so Hulk believed. One cold evening, as Hulk returned home from a long day of labor, he noticed something was wrong. The house was unusually quiet. His mother, who always greeted him with a weak smile, was lying on the floor, struggling to breathe. Ami, Hulk rushed to her side, his heart pounding. Her face was pale, her lips trembling. She tried to speak, but no words came out. Panic gripped Hulk. He lifted her gently and placed her on the bed. Her body was burning with fever. Hulk knew immediately. She needed a hospital. He ran outside and asked the neighbors for help. One of them checked her pulse and shook his head. She must be taken to the hospital immediately. This is serious. Hulk felt relief for a moment, until reality hit him like a knife. He had no money, not even enough for transportation. His hands began to shake. He checked his pockets again and again, hoping something would magically appear, but there was nothing. Just a few useless coins. He begged a rickshaw driver nearby. "I'll pay you later. Please, my mother is dying." The driver looked at him coldly and replied, "I'm sorry, son, I can't work for free." One by one, doors closed in front of Hulk. His desperation turned into tears. He sat beside his mother, holding her hand, whispering prayers, blaming himself for being poor. "Mommy, please don't leave me. I'll find a way. I promise." As the night grew darker, Hulk made a decision. He ran to the marketplace and stood in the middle of the road, shouting for help. People passed by. Some ignored him, some stared, some laughed. Finally, an elderly man stopped. "What's wrong, son?" With tears streaming down his face, Hulk told him everything. About his sick mother, his empty pockets, his helplessness. The old man listened silently. Then he said something Hulk would never forget. "Money comes and goes. A mother doesn't." He immediately took out his phone, called his driver, and within minutes, they were on their way to the hospital. Doctors rushed Hulk's mother into emergency care. The hours that followed felt like years. Hulk sat on the floor, praying with every breath. Finally, the doctor came out. "She's stable now," he said. "You brought her just in time." Hulk collapsed in relief, tears of gratitude falling from his eyes. He rushed to thank the old man, but he was gone. The nurse handed Hulk a small paper. On it was written, "One day, when you are able, help someone the same way I helped you." Days later, Hulk's mother recovered. With renewed strength and hope, Hulk worked harder than ever, not just for survival, but with purpose. Years passed. Hulk became financially stable. He never forgot that night. And every month, he paid hospital bills for strangers who couldn't afford treatment, just like he once couldn't. Because sometimes, poverty tests us, but humanity saves us. Years had passed since that night. Hulk had worked tirelessly, never forgetting the kindness of the elderly man who had saved his mother. He had started a small business, and slowly, life had begun to smile upon him. But the struggles he had faced remained etched in his heart, reminding him of those who were still trapped in poverty and despair. One rainy evening, Hulk was walking home from his shop when he noticed a young boy shivering in the cold near the street. His clothes were torn, and his eyes were filled with fear and hunger. Hulk's heart tightened. He remembered himself as a childless man with nothing, helpless in front of his mother's suffering. He approached the boy gently. "Hey, what's your name?" Hulk asked. The boy whispered, "Ali, sir." Ali's mother was sick too, and his father had abandoned them. Hulk quickly invited Ali home, offering him warm clothes, food, and a safe place to stay for the night. That night, Hulk thought of his own mother's suffering and of the man who had helped him. He made a silent promise. "I will never let anyone face helplessness alone if I can help." Word spread in the neighborhood about Hulk's generosity. People began coming to him, not for charity, but for guidance, small jobs, and support. Hulk realized he could do more than just help individual people. He could create a system to help those in need. Hulk decided to start a small community help center. He rented a modest building near the heart of the city, offering meals, basic medicines, and a place for children like Allie to study. Slowly, his center became a beacon of hope for the poor. One day, a wealthy businessman came to Hulk's center. He had heard of Hulk's selfless deeds. "You have changed so many lives," the man said. "I want to help you expand this center. Together, we can reach more people." Hulk hesitated. He had learned that money alone couldn't save people. It had to be accompanied by compassion, understanding, and love. But with the right guidance, he knew they could make a real difference. Years later, Hulk's center had grown into a full-fledged community hospital and shelter. Mothers no longer feared that illness would steal their children. Children had a place to learn, play, and grow, and the poor could find someone to turn to, someone who cared. Hulk's mother, now frail but healthy, would sit at the entrance of the hospital every morning, greeting everyone with a smile. She would tell visitors, "Kindness changes the world, and my son learned it the hard way." Hulk often thought of that cold, helpless night. He realized that poverty tests not just your strength, but your heart, and when humanity steps in, even the smallest act of kindness can ripple into a lifetime of hope. And so, Hulk continued his journey, not just surviving, but transforming the lives of countless others, showing the world that true wealth is measured not by money, but by the hearts we touch. Years had passed, and Hulk's small help center had grown into a community hub known throughout the city. Children studied, mothers received medical care, and the poor found hope where there had once been despair. Hulk had become more than just a helper. He was a symbol of compassion and resilience. One evening, as Hulk was closing the center, a young girl named Zara approached him. Her eyes were wide with fear, and she clutched a small bundle of clothes. "Sir, my father, he's gone. I have nowhere to go," she whispered. Hulk knelt down and gently held her hand. "You're safe now, Zara. You'll stay here with us." Zara reminded Hulk of himself as a young man, helpless, scared, and alone. That night, he sat with her, sharing stories of courage and hope. Slowly, Zara's fear turned into trust. Meanwhile, Hulk's mother, now elderly but sharp as ever, continued to watch her son with pride. She would often say, "Your heart has built more than just a building, Hulk. You've built a family for those who had none." One morning, news came that a massive flood had struck a nearby village. Hundreds of families had lost everything. Hulk didn't hesitate. He rallied his staff, volunteers, and the children who had grown up in the center. Together, they packed food, clothes, and medicines, and traveled to the village to help. Hulk stood on a small hill, looking at the destruction. Tears welled up in his eyes, not for the flood, but for the courage of those who still hoped amidst the chaos. He knew that every life they touched mattered. Over time, Hulk's story spread beyond the city. Media, volunteers, and donors joined his cause, but Hulk never let fame change him. He remained the same simple young man who once had nothing but his mother's love. Years later, as Hulk walked through the center, now bustling with children laughing and mothers caring for one another, he saw Zara leading a group of younger children. She had grown strong, confident, and compassionate. Hulk realized then that his true legacy wasn't the buildings or the aid. It was the lives he had inspired to carry kindness forward. As the sun set, Hulk stood outside, holding his mother's hand. Together, they watched the children play, the volunteers serve, and the once hopeless neighborhood transform into a community of hope. Hulk smiled and whispered, "Life may test us, poverty may challenge us, but humanity, love, compassion, and hope will always triumph." And in that moment, Hulk knew that his journey wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about changing the world, one heart at a time.